Hi everyone, I'm Leslie Manukian, President of Health Freedom Defense Fund, and I wanted to tell you about something really horrible that happened yesterday. The Department of Justice released an opinion, and that opinion stated that emergency use authorized products can be mandated. Now this is a big deal because that is in direct contradiction to what Congress has said in legislation that they've passed in the form of the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. The Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act requires that emergency use authorized products, which are defined as investigational products, be voluntary. They cannot be mandated. Recipients must be given the option of accepting or refusing use of the product. So what DOJ said yesterday is that they are in charge, that Congress is not, that the law of the land doesn't matter, and that the DOJ can decide whatever your rights are. What DOJ said yesterday is that there's no separation of powers between the executive branch and the legislative branch. DOJ falls under the executive branch. Congress is, of course, the legislative branch, and they are charged with making laws. The DOJ is charged with enforcing the law. What they've done is a gross distortion of the law, literally twisting it into oblivion. They are saying that as long as you are informed that you have a right to refuse, after you've been informed, then you can be forced. That's what they've said. DOJ has essentially said that we don't live in a free country, we live in a kingdom run by a ruler, and that the DOJ is one of those rulers, or part of the ruler, or answers to the ruler. What DOJ has said is that there is no longer the rule of law in the United States because what Congress has legislated no longer matters. I cannot impress upon you enough how important this is. It is a huge development, a seminal moment in our history, because DOJ is saying that there is no separation of powers and that legislation that Congress passes is not the highest law in the land. This is horrific. Now, Health Freedom Defense Fund is going to keep doing all it can do by litigating against these unjust mandates and edicts in courts, and we ask you all to become members and to support our cause. But I have another message for you today, and that message is this. It is incumbent upon each and every one of you to decide where your line in the sand is. It is incumbent upon each and every one of you to stand up and say, no, I will not mask my children. No, I will not allow myself to be masked or myself to be forcibly medicated. What the DOJ has said is that forced medication is acceptable. That's what they've said. They've said that all the people who died in Germany and across Europe during the Second World War were for nothing. That we learned nothing from the Nuremberg trials. That informed consent is meaningless. And you have to stand up for yourself, because as much as I'm trying to do and Health Freedom Defense Fund is trying to do, we cannot represent every single American who needs representation in the courts. It requires each and every one of us to say, no, I will not comply. I am a sovereign human being. I am empowered to make my own choices and decisions, and I will not be forced to do anything against my conscience or my will. This is my line in the sand. Where is yours?